June 6, 1944, the Allies launched the largest seaborne invasion in history, known as D-Day,
marking the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe during World War II. Leading up to this, the Allies carried out an elaborate deception campaign called Operation Fortitude, which used inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, and double agents to convince the Germans that the invasion would happen at Pas-de-Calais instead of Normandy. As a result, German forces remained concentrated in Calais even after the landings began, believing Normandy was a diversion.
For Operation Overlord, or better known as D-Day, over 156,000 American, British, Canadian, and other Allied troops landed on 5 beaches: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Seward. The Germans had constructed fortified bunkers and machine gun nests overlooking the beaches, especially at Omaha, causing heavy casualties on the American forces. Despite fierce resistance, the Allies secured the beaches and began pushing inland through the French countryside.
In August, the Allies approached Paris. There, the French resistance, known as the Maquis, a decentralized network of small cell fighters that helped support many French citizens during the Nazi occupation, sabotaged German operations aiding the Allied forces. These Maquis were a big part of the whole operation, but most were just people who wanted their freedom because life under German occupation wasn't easy. There was a lot of rationing and service du travail obligatoire, which was a mandatory German forced program for labor. Some who resisted were former Republican fighters from the Spanish Civil War. Others were simply hiding to avoid being sent to work. There was another group, the Free French Forces, a military group that hadn't given up after losing their land that had already begun an uprising on August 19, showing their patriotism, resilience, and mostly their unwavering belief in liberty. Some would say, never back down, never what? And on August 25th, 1944, that all ended because the Allied troops liberated Paris from 4 years of Nazi occupation. And Paris finally breathed the air of freedom once again. The Germans were furious, mostly Hitler. He had issued direct orders for the destruction of the city, with intentions of making it difficult to attack from the rough terrain. But the German commander, Dietrich von Choltitz, defied the order, saying that he believed in his affection for the French capital's history and culture, and believed Hitler was going crazy, demanding the destruction of beautiful architecture. When the Allies surrounded Paris, he gave in to the Allies giving the land back and signing the Nazi surrender after they liberated France, preserving architecture and culture.
Meanwhile, on the Eastern Front, Germany had launched Operation Barbarossa in June 1941, invading the Soviet Union. Initially successful, the German advance faltered during the brutal Russian winter, as Soviet forces, better equipped for the cold, launched a counter-offense. Cities like Minsk and Belarus were retaken by the Soviets in 1944, as they pushed westward, with Germany stretched thin, fighting both the Soviets in the east and the Allies in the west. The tide of the war turned. By 1945, Allied forces crossed the Rhine, and the Soviets closed in on Berlin. On May 7, 1945, Germany officially surrendered, marking the end of the war in Europe.